If you are planning to do your IB Biology IA on this topic, change it right now. You are trapping yourself in a low score. The May 2025 subject report explicitly states that examiners are exhausted from seeing the exact same textbook experiments, the effect of temperature on enzyme activity, or the effect of light intensity on photosynthesis. Because these topics are unoriginal, examiners grade them brutally hard. If your research question looks like it was copied straight from Google, you will immediately lose points under the personal engagement and exploration criteria. You don't need a university lab. Just twist the topic. Instead of temperature on enzymes, test how a specific local herbal extract or a specific pH buffer changes the reaction rate. Make it unique. Comment your current IA topic below, and I will tell you if it is safe for a trap. Follow for more 2027 exam secrets. According to the latest Chief Examiner notes, hundreds of students did great experiments and drew beautiful graphs. But when they wrote their final conclusion, they made a massive mistake. They only talked about their own data. The 2025 marking standard explicitly requires you to compare your data to established scientific literature. If your conclusion does not feature a scientific citation or a textbook value to prove your graph is accurate, you cannot get top marks. In your final paragraph, you must write, "My data showed a peak at 35 degrees, which directly aligns with the findings of Smith et al., who stated that human enzymes optimize at this range." Save this video for when you write your IA conclusion. Hit follow to outsmart the examiners. Stop just listing your controlled variables in your biology IA. The May 2025 reports show this is costing your easy marks. The students love to make a beautiful table that says controlled variable temperature. Reason, it affects enzymes. If that is all you wrote, the examiner is slashing your marks. The 2025 subject report notes that students failed to explain how they monitored the variable. It is not enough to say you want to control it. You must explicitly describe the precise method of validation. Instead, your table must state temperature was kept at 25 degrees Celsius using a digital water bath and monitored every 2 minutes using a calibrated digital thermometer to ensure compliance. Precision is the difference between a 5 and a 7. Share this with someone writing their IA right now and follow for part 4. Think you know how to draw a cell membrane? The May 2025 examiners say most students are doing it completely wrong. Drawing questions are free marks, but the 2025 report reveals that thousands of students lost points on the fluid mosaic model. The biggest mistake? Leaving massive empty gaps between the phospholipids. If your phospholipids aren't packed tightly together, examiners penalize you for an inaccurate bilayer. Also, many students drew peripheral proteins floating out in space, completely detached from the membrane. Keep your phospholipid heads touching. Embed your integral protein completely through both layers and anchor your peripheral proteins directly to the surface. Grab a scrap piece of paper and test yourself right now. Hit follow to master your exam drawings. In the May 2025 exam, thousands of students completely lost marks on the paper 2 data question. The graph showed how changing carbon dioxide changed plant leaves. The students kept writing phrases like the amount of carbon dioxide changed the amount of stomata. The examiners banned the word amount. If you write amount, they stop reading. To get the mark, you must use precise scientific variables. Never say amount. Say concentration of carbon dioxide and stomatal density. Look at your old practice papers right now. Did you use the word amount? Drop a comment and follow to save your biology grade. This single exam common term confusion completely destroyed student scores in the May 2025 Paper 2 exam. When a data question starts with the word explain, the students look at the graph and write down exactly what they see. The line goes up from point A to point B. That is a description, not an explanation. The 2025 report highlights the students consistently gave physical descriptions for questions that demanded biological reasons. If the question says, explain the trend, writing down the numbers from the graph gets you a flat 0. When you see explain, you must give the why. If the line goes down, write why it goes down biologically. For example, the population decreases because the toxic concentration exceeds the species tolerance threshold. Don't mix up your common terms on exam day. Follow me to learn how to read the examiner's mind. This statistics mistake completely crushed student scores in May 2025 genetics questions. When the 2025 exam asked students to interpret a chi-squared test result, hundreds of students calculated the correct number, but then wrote, the results are correct because the number is big. That is an instant 0. The 2025 subject report states that the students failed to compare their calculated value to the critical value at the 0.05 significance level. If you don't mention the critical value, your conclusion means nothing to examiners. To get full marks, you must explicitly state, since the calculated value is greater than the critical value, we reject the null hypothesis. There is a statistically significant difference. Stop guessing your stats. Save this video for your next genetics unit and follow for more tips. This is the #1 logical trap in IB Biology Paper 2, and it claimed thousands of victims in May 2025. The exam showed a graph where two factors rose together at the exact same time. Students immediately wrote, this proves the factor A causes factor B. The examiner instantly crossed it out. The 2025 subject report explicitly warns that students consistently confuse correlation with causation. Just because two lines on a graph follow the same trend does not mean one causes the other. To save your marks, always write, the data shows a strong positive correlation, but further experimental evidence is required to establish a direct causal mechanism. Don't let the graph trick you on exam day. Share this with a classmate and follow for the next tip. If you are describing active transport using the word move, you are losing easy marks in your 2025 exams. When explaining how molecules pass through a membrane protein against the gradient, the students love to write, ATP gives energy and the molecule moves through the pump. According to the 2025 exam review, the language is too simple. Examiners are specifically looking for the exact physical action of the protein, and the keyword is conformational change. You must write, ATP phosphorylation causes a conformational change in the pump protein, altering its shape to translocate the ion across the membrane. Use the examiner's vocabulary to guarantee your 7. Hit follow for more high-yield biology keywords. This missing section is why so many students fail to get a perfect score under IB Biology IA. The May 2025 subject report highlighted a major trend. Students write incredible, high-level scientific methods, but completely forget to include a dedicated safety, ethical, or environmental risk assessment. Even if your experiment just uses water and yeast, you cannot leave this blank. The marking criteria strictly demand that you identify potential hazards and state exactly how you manage them. Always include a small paragraph or table stating risk, glass breakage, or spillages. Mitigation: safety goggles were worn at all times and spills were neutralized immediately to prevent slips. Check your IA draft right now to see if you skip this. Follow me to fix your IA before it's too late. Back in 2023, the biggest mistake was pure laziness with data. Students lost easy marks on paper 2 because they wrote the graph goes up, but forgot to quote the exact figures and units from the axis. In 2024, examiners attacked diagram comprehension. When shown real-world scientific visuals, students panicked and described the surface details instead of linking the visual structure directly to biological function. But the most recent exam blew everything up. The 2025 reports show that examiners are aggressively banning vague words. If you write the amount of gas instead of the concentration of volume, they drop your score instantly. The old ways of guessing won't get you a 7 anymore. Hit follow, and let's fix your exam vocabulary before your next test.